Welcome to Waywut, your weekly verbal double take. This is a rabbit hole podcast where a couple of old guys do moderate to shallow dives into various topics, ranging from true crime, paranormal, sports, pop culture, or anything else that we find interesting. We drop episodes every Tuesday, and then on Fridays if we feel like it. You can follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram. We appreciate you joining us. Now that we got all this self-promotion stuff out of the way, here we go. Hello, and welcome once again to another episode of Waywut. My name is Darrell, and I will be taking the lead today. And here I am with the guy who has resorted to consulting a voodoo priest, a shaman, and a witch doctor to finally understand the YouTube algorithm. Jason.
I'll take any help I can get at this point.
It don't make sense, and I try my hardest not to let it get to me, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'm just like furious and screaming at my computer for some reason. It's like, what did we say? What did we say this time?
I actually asked ChatGPT to give me a well-worded tell-off letter to that YouTube algorithm about it, just telling off the algorithm. It's pretty damn funny.
Yeah, well, it is something that we will have to deal with until, I don't know. I mean, I pulled all of our stuff off of Rumble because, quite frankly, I didn't really like it. Just seemed very spammy. Like every video we put got some spammy comment or something. But if it ever gets popular, I will run to there. I'll run there smiling, just to tell the YouTube to fuck off. All right. Oh wait. Oh no! I said that. Oh god.
Oh no! We're gonna be banned again.
All right. Well, today I am going to start our talk with a rant about magic.
Ooh, magic.
Yeah. I found out when I was around 8 years old, somewhere around there, that my grandmother, at one point in her life, practiced witchcraft.
Okay.
And then the only thing I ever really got out of her about it was like after she had this out-of-body experience, she gave it all up. And because it freaked her out, she gave it all up, and she got super churchy after that. And it's like hardcore.
She saw something.
Church all
yeah. She saw something.
Yeah. Well, before I was old enough to hang out at home by myself and be a full-on latchkey kid, I used to take the bus to my granny's house after school every day. Now, one day after school, my cousin and I saw this huge box of books just sitting in the driveway there. And whenever we went and looked inside the box, there were these just books, just stacks and stacks of books that were about witchcraft and demonology.
Oh.
Yeah. As soon as she saw us like picking through it and looking at stuff, she came outside, started screaming at us to get away from it. But before she got rid of us, I saw that one of those books said spells.
Oh.
All right. It was like, book of demonology, blah, 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 and spells. And I was like, ooh.
That's the one.
So, yeah. So naturally, I snuck my way back to that box and I snatched that spell book. I mean, what 8-year-old out there is not going to want to do magic? I mean, there's a reason that Harry Potter's huge.
Yes.
Because kids, want to be able to do magic. Well, I grabbed that book and I climbed my favorite tree. And the first thing that I did, I looked for love spells. I had a really big crush that year. It didn't take me long. And I found a love spell that it seemed like I could do. Because there's a bunch of them. But I was like, I'm not going to be able to get that ingredient. I'm not going to be able to get that ingredient. And I kept going and going until I found this one that said all I needed was apple seeds, water, and I think it said chalice. I don't really know because at the time it was a word that I didn't know. But the context was putting the water and seeds into something. And so I was like, chalice is a cup. Then that's what I'll do. So you had to put it in this cup and chant this spell. Well, I had no way of keeping that book without being caught. So I memorized the spell and the ingredients, and I put that book back into the box. You might ask yourself, why? That's because you don't know my granny. If she would have caught me with that book, she would have torn my ass up with a wooden spoon. I would rather be shot. It would be less painful.
She
I
might have put a spell on you.
No, she was done with that stuff. Well, I say she's done with that stuff. She had this little loop of barbed wire that was hung up for years, even after that. Found out that was her putting a curse on a neighbor or something.
Yeah, so she had a couple in her back pocket still.
Yeah. But yeah, with that wooden spoon. I mean, there were plenty of times I got hit with it, and they were all memorable and extremely painful.
Wooden spoon, man, they leave a mark.
Oh, the worst was when she hit me across the forearms with it. Oh. All right. So, moving on away from my child abuse. So whenever I finally got some privacy a few days later at home, I ate an apple, pulled out all the seeds, and I found like these like fancy like I don't know why they weren't wine glasses because they weren't big enough, but they were shaped like wine glasses, but it would only hold like a shot. So I'm guessing it's like a brandy glass or something. I don't know.
Like these, yeah, like a brandy sniffer.
Well, no, it was size? Way smaller than that. Like you could put a shot in it.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't very big at all.
Like a little aperitif thing.
But they were fancy, and she used them for decoration. They never got drink out of. So, I wiped out the inside. I put the seeds in, add just enough water to fill the bottom of the glass because it said not to use too much. And then I began chanting the words, warm seed, warm heart, let our love never part, as I thought of the girl that I had a crush on. I then said her name 3 times, and allegedly the spell was cast.
Okay. Is there a radius how far it can go, or?
Well, since then, I've Googled those words, and all I found was some old Angel Fire website that had love spells on there, and it had one that actually had those words, but instead of apple seeds in water, it was grinding coriander into in a mortar and pestle and using that.
Okay.
Maybe that would have worked better.
You didn't have to drink the water, or anything?
Well, see, it didn't say to do that, but I wanted to make sure this stuff worked. So even though it didn't say to do it, for good measure, I drank the water and swallowed the seeds.
Oh, no.
And do you want to know what happened?
Does it involve an apple tree growing out of your ass?
No. Nothing happened. The girl I liked didn't come running to me shouting that she wanted me to be her boyfriend. And I had a crush on that girl for like years to follow. And then one day, whenever I got around middle school age or close middle school age, I finally drummed up the guts to ask her to go steady with me. And she said no. So it definitely didn't work.
Was this a elementary school girl that went to our school?
Well, yeah, because I was in elementary school. I didn't chase cougars back then.
Oh, no, of course not. I mean, I was making sure you went to our school and not another school.
All right, but my rant isn't that magic isn't real. It's that I suck at magic, and that pisses me off. I do not like the fact that I had my shot to kind of try it, and I'm really bad at magic. And the reason I say I'm really bad at it isn't because the spell didn't work at all. My first wife / first ex-wife had the same name as the girl that I tried to cast the spell on.
Oh.
It wasn't that it didn't work. I had shitty aim. I didn't even hit a girl I knew. On top of that, it wasn't strong enough because the bitch ended up leaving me. So screw magic and screw the American education system because I obviously needed Hogwarts. If I had been educated properly, then things would be different. I would be miserably married to someone that I'm forced to love me with magic, but I would know magic. Now that I think of it, I've lived miserably before, and I think I'm okay not being magic. It's too much power for me. I just ruined myself.
Ah, that's a great story.
Well, I'm glad you like it. Well, fortunately, or in some cases unfortunately, I'm not the only person that is bad at witchcraft. Today, I'll be going over some witches and warlocks that attempted their own magic, but all they managed to do was turn themselves into criminals.
Okay.
We begin our tale in a city that we all want to visit, Sioux City, Iowa.
Oh,
It's on all of our bucket. It's on all of our bucket lists.
It's on there, top 5 for sure.
Oh yeah. On January 6, 2008, Lawrence Harris called 911 to report a fire in his home. His wife was at work, and Harris waited calmly outside of his house with his young son as emergency responders arrived. Harris claimed that he was attempting to cast a protection spell in their basement, and candles were part of that.
Duh.
He also told firefighters that his 2 stepdaughters were upstairs and they were both dead.
Oh.
Kendra Sewing was 10 years old and Alicia Sewing was only 8. When the firefighters found them, one was naked with a belt around her neck and the other partially naked with a large gaping wound in her arm. Later, the autopsy confirmed that they did not die from smoke inhalation. All evidence in the autopsy was consistent that they were killed with strangulation. Fortunately, there was no evidence of any sex stuff, so there's that small mercy. Unsurprisingly, it was also later determined that the fire was not accidental.
No.
It did not take long for the police to arrest Harris. It didn't even take a full day. According to Harris, he was attempting to cast a protection spell. He also claimed to be a Satanist. Lawrence's wife, who had told him, "Don't do your Satanist stuff in the house." But unsurprisingly, the devil worshiper didn't follow the rules. It's kind of like their thing. On top of all that, he wasn't even a good Satanist because it's a big no-no to hurt children in the Church of Satan. That's one of their big things. They're like, hey, don't hurt kids.
Who knew? Yeah, who knew?
Well, it's because Satanism, as it is practiced, it's less of a religion, more of a philosophy, and it's more about hedonism and opposing the structure and power of the church, and less about worshiping a red guy with a pitchfork and horns. It's not really that.
I do have a question about the spell.
Okay.
When you say a protection spell, who was he protecting, or
what
was he protecting? Okay.
Doesn't really get into
okay.
That. He doesn't know what went wrong. He guesses he may have said a word wrong or something. He's in the 5th stage of the spell, but he claims that he froze and felt terrified and lost touch with reality at that moment.
It's Leviosa.
Yeah, he said, yeah, he didn't do it right, and it made him kill a couple of kids. I never saw that in Harry Potter. When his wife, the girl's mother, confronted him in the interrogation room, he said, "I didn't do this on purpose. I didn't mean for this to happen." And then his wife asked him directly, "Did you sacrifice them?" He stared at the floor, wouldn't look up at her as he told her, "No, I would never do that." I don't know. I don't think he's really telling the truth here. But what do I know?
No.
Based on the blood found on his chest, in his fingernails, and on his shoes, he definitely killed him. He was found guilty and sentenced to 2 life terms in 2009. His appeal the very next year was denied.
Good.
Yeah. I know some of any Wiccans, witches, and whatnot that might be listening to this would be like, he wasn't a real warlock or wizard or Satanist. Spoiler, that's going to be everyone in this episode. This is an episode about criminals that commit crimes while using witchcraft as an excuse. None of these are cases where people are going on trial because they put a curse on a ballpoint pen that magically flies up someone's nose and kills them. So I'm not talking bad about Wiccans or nothing. I'm talking bad about criminals. Which brings us to our next criminal. It's December 28th, 1995, in Killaloe, Ottawa. That's in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Just letting you know. It was late in the night as Scott Dell was on the phone with his estranged wife, Cheryl Dell. As they talked about getting back together, he was drinking the bottle of wine his wife had given him earlier that night. With his wife's encouragement, Scott drank the entire 1.5 liter, and I only say 1.5 liters because it was in Canada, 1.5 liter bottle of white wine while they
That's
talked.
still a lot. That's a lot in any culture or any country.
Any measurement system?
In any measurement system, it's the same amount. It's just told differently.
Got a dumb name.
Yeah.
Around 4 a.m., his speech was slurred and he began vomiting. So he ended the phone call and went upstairs to go to bed. Before he could reach the bed, he fell on the floor and curled up in the fetal position as the antifreeze that was in the wine began tearing his insides apart.
Yeah, it has a tendency of doing that.
Yeah. He fell into a coma and died shortly after. Initially, the death was determined as suicide. I'm not the hugest fan of Canadian justice or lack thereof, or law enforcement and all that. So I'm not surprised. It's like, hey, yeah, of course he drank all the antifreeze himself. Of course, that's how I'd take myself out, you know.
Well, in their weak defense, let me throw this at you. If you're going to drink antifreeze, you're only going to drink a little amount until you realize you're drinking antifreeze, unless you mean to be drinking antifreeze where you can drink a whole bunch.
Well, antifreeze, although it does tend to throw off the flavor of whatever it's in there a bit, it's sweet. And that's
like lead paint.
That's one of the reasons why people tend to go. I mean, one, it's easily purchased, and it tends to be, you know, something that people can get people to drink. So a lot of poison cases that you'll watch in true crime stuff, somebody poisoning someone with antifreeze.
And it helps
that is not an endorsement of that idea. They all got caught and they all went to jail. Right. So shut up.
And it makes more sense that they chose wine, since wine is terrible anyway, and you probably think you got a good wine if you make antifreeze with it.
It's like, oh, this tastes way better than normal.
Whatever you did to it, keep them coming. Keep them coming. Oh, my goodness.
Following Scott's death, Cheryl made sure to tell everyone she could that Scott's cancer had come out of remission and he had just given up. That was able to persist for a while until other things started coming out. Things such as Cheryl's girlfriend talking to the police. Since, you know, this crime was solved, you have to understand that somebody that was aware of it had to explicitly go to a Canadian police officer and say, this is what happened. And they're like, oh, we didn't find that in our investigation at all. We were looking all over that Tim Hortons there. All right, anyway. Nancy Fillmore had been Cheryl's lover since the spring of 1995. Nancy told the police that she was the one that bought the wine and the antifreeze. She also told them that she watched Cheryl put the antifreeze in the wine. She went on to say that after poisoning the wine, Cheryl called Scott and had him come to her house. She gave him the bottle of wine, saying she had a dream that he would have spiritual visions after drinking the wine. She loaned him her copy of the Celestine Prophecy. I don't know if you remember that bullshit book that was popular back then. It was kind of like that purpose-driven life thing too. There's that fad. And told him she wanted him to go on his spiritual journey.
AKA die.
Death. Yes, you're going to go on a spiritual journey when you become a spirit and float away.
She ain't lying.
Yeah. Scott, loving his wife as much as he did, took the bottle of wine and the book. After Scott left, Nancy claimed that Cheryl took out her witchcraft books, lit some candles, and began performing rituals while chanting prayers or spells. Now, I always thought that witches used like belladonna or wolfsbane or hemlock for their poison potions. Now we know it's just as easy as just going to Walmart and buying antifreeze. That's simple witchcraft for all of us.
Yeah. Witchers are people too.
As much as I want to joke about putting antifreeze in a bottle of wine is just as magical as saying abracadabra before shooting someone with a gun, I believe the spells that she was attempting to cast were trying to influence the fates and making sure that her plan was successful. Kind of like praying for someone's chemo to be effective. It's like, okay, there's this thing that's out there that's supposed to help make this thing happen. I'm going to, put my will out into the universe for this to happen. She just did it with weird chants and candles. Now that's the witchy part of this story. But like the one before, she was just a psycho killer. She kept him on the phone all night, making sure that he drank all of the wine and made sure that he also wasn't off the phone so he could call 911 or a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
She was a ruthless woman, obviously, that wanted him dead so he couldn't get custody of their kids and she could get the farmhouse that he was currently living in. A couple of months after Nancy spoke with the cops, she was killed in a fire at her home.
Protection spell?
Well, no, this one's a little bit more straightforward. I guess at this point, the Canadian cops were like, oh, no, if we don't stop now, they're going to kill everyone. The fire was started by 19-year-old Brent Crawford. He was referred to as the town loser, and it came out that Cheryl got him to kill Nancy Fillmore for a motorcycle and $300.
Wow.
Yeah. Goes to show, though, you pay Temu prices, you get Temu products. Any hitman that's that cheap is not going to go down alone.
Very true. Just like that Great Clips haircut. You pay for what you get.
My hair looks fine.
Your hair looks great. I'm just talking about the haircut.
Uh-huh. Yeah, oops, just hit my microphone, flailing my hands around. No, it's just if somebody ever, came up and said, hey, I will take somebody out for you, and all I need is a stick of gum and a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I'm not going to trust it.
No.
No.
What do they have to lose?
If I'm at a fancy party and some dude comes over with slick back hair, wearing a suit and everything, it's like, I work in international affairs, and then, just let slip. My fee is $80,000 per hit. Then I'd be like, oh, wow, that's the guy.
Uh-huh.
So you don't go cheap on a hit job.
No. And especially don't get off Craigslist. They never come through.
Now, this whole weird story really probably could have been an entire episode by itself. And it was really hard, but I've left out a lot about this crazy witch lady. So feel free to go look up Cheryl. Cheryl, what was her last name? I already forgot it. It is Cheryl Dell, Dell, up in Canada, because she's crazy, and there's plenty to read there that I'm not going to go over. In the end, she got a Canadian life sentence for murdering her husband with the magic antifreeze. She pled guilty to a lesser charge regarding the murder of her girlfriend, Nancy Fillmore. Since, let's see, this was back in the 90s, so she's actually been eligible for parole because Canadian life sentences, you're eligible for parole after like 25 years. Fortunately, they've all her requests have been denied so far. So good job, Canada. Keep that up. Don't let that bitch out. And now let's leave the Great White North and get down to the good old American Midwest. In the early morning hours of August 23rd, 2005, in Claremont, Illinois, Jacqueline Bennett woke up after hearing noises in her kitchen. Her boyfriend, Lee Jackson, was supposed to be at work. She went into her kitchen, and instead of seeing Lee, she saw two intruders wearing ski masks. They saw her too, and they attacked and began stabbing her. She screamed as she was wounded in her neck. Her son, Joshua Bennett, happened to be staying with her that night. He had recently completed his basic training and was about to be deployed to Iraq. When he heard his mother's screams, he leapt into action and went after the attackers. And then he was stabbed multiple times. However, with his actions, his mother was able to escape to another room, and after all was said and done, she survived this. So he did save her. He accomplished exactly what he was trying to do.
Good. Not good,
Jackie,
but
no.
Good, yeah.
At least he did, he didn't die for nothing. Well, I mean, he kind of did once we get into this.
No, he was going into the army already with that right mind frame of ready to sacrifice.
Save people, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Jackson was 23 years old and Lee Jackson's son. So Lee Jackson was Jacqueline's boyfriend. There's lots of Jacks in this. And Jackie Jackson was the son of her boyfriend. He lived with Lee and Jacqueline along with his pregnant 17-year-old girlfriend, Lindsay Kasinger. When he heard all of the commotion upstairs from his room down in the basement, he charged upstairs with a shotgun. He saw both intruders stabbing Joshua in his chest and abdomen. Jackie ran towards them and hit one of them in the face with the butt of his shotgun. The intruder he hit began wrestling with him for the shotgun, and in the ensuing struggle, it fired. The other intruder took the accidental blast from that shotgun. So he's down. The shock of the gun going off freaked Jackie and that intruder he was fighting with, freaked them both out, and they both dropped the gun. They're just like, whoa, shit.
You okay?
Yeah. Once the shock wore off, because they accidentally just blasted some guy, they began fighting again. During the struggle, Jackie was able to grab one of the intruder's knives and stab the intruder he was fighting with in his right inner thigh.
Ooh, yeah, right in that sweet meat.
Yeah, it's not a fun place to have anything bad happen.
Mm-hmm.
After getting stabbed in the leg, the intruder was like, fuck this shit. And he made a run for it, ditching his now donut-shaped partner bleeding on the floor. Get it? Because the hole's blasted in his middle. All right.
Like death becomes her? What?
Yeah. Lindsay, Jackie's pregnant teenage girlfriend, quickly ran to the neighbor's house and called 911. The police arrived at the chaotic scene to find Jacqueline wounded and Joshua dead. The intruder that got shot was still alive, and they asked him who he was. He told them his name was David Lindner. David Lindner. He referred to the other intruder as Ricky, and before he went into a coma, he told the police, that lady put a hex on us, so we had to kill her. Well, that's just mysterious.
Very specific there.
Yeah. So the police went to Jacqueline and they asked her, "Do you know David Lindner?" And she was like, "No, I don't." She also had no idea what hex that guy was talking about. A hospital from the next county over called the police to report that they had a patient come in with a stab wound to his leg. The police went there to find Oscar R. Eck, but he told them, "Call me Ricky." As they questioned Ricky, who claimed his injury happened while installing drywall, 34-year-old Irenia Kottner and 20-year-old Jenny Wolf showed up at the hospital to pick up Ricky. Both women denied knowing anything about the attack on Jacqueline and her son, and the cops didn't really believe them. They were like, "Okay, those girls are weird and suspicious, but you can't just sit there and grab somebody for being weird and suspicious." So the two women were able to leave because there wasn't anything to connect them directly to the attack. Just because they know Ricky doesn't mean anything. The cops then went to Ricky's house to learn more about him, and they met his roommate. And she said, "I don't know anything about that attack." But as they questioned her, they learned that Ricky worked at Walmart with Irenia and Jenny, the women I mentioned earlier that picked him up from the hospital. He worked with them at Walmart. And she explained that Ricky and his friends were into witchcraft and the occult. Kottner positioned herself as the leader of their coven. She would lead candlelit ceremonies that were meant to rid them of various hexes, because modern problems there. A few months before the attack, Kottner told her coven that a woman named Lindsay Kasinger put a hex on their coven, and the only way to lift that hex was to kill her and the baby she was pregnant with. Was Lindsay a witch? Was Irene a witch? Or was she just a jealous old bitch?
Second one.
Before Jackie Jackson robbed the cradle and got with Lindsay, I guess he was into cougars, or, well, I don't want to call her a cougar. Just he was into older women because he had a relationship with Irenia Kottner. She did not handle their breakup well. Once Irene and her coven decided to go through the plan of killing Lindsay, to free themselves from her hex, Ricky recruited David Lindner, who was originally part of that coven, for the attack. David Lindner called himself a warlock, so he was definitely their kind of people. That being said, if he really was a warlock, it's good to know that a warlock's weakness is shotguns.
Did they wear costumes?
They wore ski masks.
Oh,
and dark clothes. They dress like burglars on TV.
Oh, at least dressed like a warlock.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess they didn't have enough magic to protect them from murder. I mean, from getting arrested. The night before the murder, Kottner, Wolf, Lindner, and Ricky had a seance. Kottner let them know that the time was right for the murder. Now, of course, she wasn't going to go because it was her job to stay back and enlist demons to protect them while they went on this journey or whatever. I guess she could only conjure Timu demons since Lindner got shot and Ricky got stabbed. It's like, you didn't send me demons, you sent me imps. I didn't need imps. I don't know why I'm all over Temu. I've never even bought anything from Temu. I could just as easily jump on Wayfair, but everybody nowadays like, Wayfair? What's that?
I like Wayfair.
Of course you would.
A lot of shit on Wayfair.
I've only bought a few things there. I'm not a big fan. I always feel like I'm I'm gambling. It's like if I want to gamble, I'll go to Oklahoma.
Oh, you got to look at the measurements for sure. You got to look at the measurements.
Well, Jenny Wolf, the 20-year-old, drove Lindner and Ricky to Lee Jackson's house, where they entered the house through an unlocked window they found in the kitchen. These magical men made a bunch of noise in the process of breaking in, which drew Jacqueline in the kitchen. These magical geniuses thought that Jacqueline was Lindsay, so that's why they just jumped and started attacking her. This non-magical clusterfuck left their target unharmed, but Jacqueline wounded and Josh dead. The cops eventually arrested the entire coven. Lindner died from his transformation into a donut because of the shotgun wound before he could go to trial. Ricky got 20 years since he pled guilty to first-degree murder. Jenny Wolf got 32 years for first-degree murder, home invasion, and conspiracy to commit murder. And then finally, the head witch in charge, Irina Kotner, got 57 years for first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and home invasion. So instead of a witch that could conjure killer demons, we have a jealous bitch and the idiots that were dumb enough to buy into her magical bullshit.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's
some people just want to be so included and be a part of a group that they're willing to do
the stupidest
just a weird ass shit. Yeah.
I mean, it's stuff you see throughout history. There's just some people that tend to get more of them behind them whenever they do crazy weird shit. But yeah, that's that story. I ended on that one because it's just really weird. It's like, oh yes, I follow this lady who could talk to spirits. Oh, really? Where'd you meet her? Oh, we worked together at Walmart, but she's in the bakery and I'm over in tires.
Shouldn't she be in the craft section?
Maybe. I don't know why. Oh, witchcraft. Oh. Wow, that was terrible. And on that note, that will do it for this episode. I have to say, I'm happy that I'm not the only person that sucks at magic. But if you think about it, technically, I'm better at it. I mean, at least my spell kind of worked. It went the wrong direction, hit the wrong person, didn't last very long, and it wasn't very thorough, but it worked.
It did.
Yeah.
Sort of. I do have a question. How long after you ate the apple seeds did you realize there are small amounts of cyanide in the apple seeds?
Probably about a decade later, but you have to...
it's a lot. Yes.
It's not just a matter of swallowing seeds because we can't really digest those. So we don't really get that. You have to grind them up, and it has to be like hundreds and hundreds of seeds. Is that your one question?
Yeah, I just wonder if that freaked you out as a kid. Like, holy shit, I didn't know it was that.
Nah, I wasn't afraid of nothing like that.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
good topic.
This is a question for our audience. Have you ever successfully casted a spell? If you have, let us know in the comments. And if you have, could you put a curse on YouTube for us? Please. Pray, please.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate it. All right, well, join us next time, unless I accidentally turn Jason into a newt. If he gets better, then he'll tell us about some stuff that will make us say, Waywut.
Yep.
Take it easy, folks.
Yeah, we'll see y'all then. Later.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Waywut. This show's available on YouTube, GoodPods, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. We love to hear from you. Please comment on what you just listened to, pass along episode ideas, or just talk to us at Waywut Podcast in our Facebook group or on TikTok, Instagram, or X. Again, we really appreciate you joining us. Come back again to hear about some stuff that will make you say, Waywut.